Hello and welcome to this News9 special. It is one of the biggest drug hauls that Kerala has ever seen, and it was carried out with the help of the Navy. Now, this drug haul has raised a lot of questions. Well, was this meant for Kerala, or was it further supposed to go down south through Sri Lanka and Maldives and then to Mauritius? Why is it that we have a huge drug ship using international waters to go ahead and trade in the illegal contrabands? Well, the Narcotics Control Bureau and the Indian Navy had gone ahead and ensured that they busted this huge racket that was going on in the Indian Ocean. What we understand as of now is that there was a mothership that was there in the ocean, and this mothership was tracked from Makran coast near Iran and Pakistan. As this ship in fact moved down south, what we understand is the naval intelligence as well as the NCB picked up a lot of chatter, and they were able to trace the ship just off the coast of Kerala. And then this is what happened. They were able to haul almost 2,500 kgs of contrabands. And these contrabands were supposed to be methamphetamine, or meth crystal as they call, one of the purest forms of the narcotic substances. It is said to have a street value alone of 15,000 crores. And this methamphetamine was hidden away in rice bags from Pakistan. And interestingly enough, the authorities have been quite silent with regards to the mothership, probably that they don't want to reveal much details regarding the investigation that's going on, and they must be behind a larger trail as of now. So clearly, it looks like that these narcotic substances are now in the Indian Ocean. And why we need to be worried about it? The reason why we need to be worried about it is because of this, that these narcotic substances are in fact in one of the busiest shipping lanes of the world, where half a dozen of the world's navies are patrolling it. Remember, the shipping lanes extend from the Gulf of Aden towards the Malacca Straits. And because they move towards the Malacca Straits, it is a huge area that is covered by the best navies of the world and its coast guards. And it is through these shipping lanes that these narcotic substances are being shipped and traded.
Operation against drug trafficking that is going on in the ocean, Indian Ocean region. We, NCB and Indian Navy, conducted a successful operation in the Indian Ocean region, and were able to seize more than 2,500 kg of methamphetamine. It is largest in terms of its monetary value. So monetary value is approximately 15,000 crores. It originated from Chabahar area of Pakistan and Iran, but the source of drug is Pakistan.
Well, joining us on this discussion is Yashvardhan Azad, former Special Director IB, and George Kalivailal, Senior Journalist. And we will shortly be joined in by Manish Bala as well, former officer from the NCB. Let's in fact go to our guest, Yashvardhan Azad. Yashvardhan Azad, how do you see this? Aren't we supposed to be worried that these narcotics are actually being shipped through busy shipping lanes itself? And this is not a shipping lane that has been abandoned. It has got patrol duties from a dozen navies. And these navies are only looking for, of course, to thwart piracy. But under their noses, we have this kind of huge shipment of drugs moving across the same lanes that are used by bona fide trading ships. Aren't we supposed to be worried?
I think we should be extremely worried on three counts. You know, the first thing about this operation, I would say, is that this is a real transnational operation, you know, with the motherboard streaming down and then giving away these, passing out these parcels to these various boats. Is a very, very well organized operation. That's number one. Number two, this is a cartel which is not only meant for Cochin, but it's meant for Maldives, it's meant for Lanka. So it impresses upon you the reality of combining the intelligence teams, combining the operations of various countries. And the third part, which I think is most serious, is the whole impact of this on the society in India. Meth crystals are perhaps the worst things. Number one, it comes as a powder or a crystal, then it can be easily made into meth crystals. The labs can be very small. This I believe has come off the Makaran coast, that is the Balochistan coast. There were others also which had come from Pakistan earlier, and this will have a devastating impact on society. Now, it is clear that India is now, they are using the Bombay coast, and India is becoming the storage center, the dissemination center, and a kind of a dealing center, which will have a devastating impact on society. The other thing is that the illegal drug hauls have really jumped. I remember an article in Guardian or something, and they were talking about 2011 to 2013, where the drug thing had increased by 455%. Today, the situation is much worse. So I would be extremely worried, and I would really call for a greater cooperation on the part of the various different states. And the entire that shipping line is mapped. I mean, we have it. The control room in Bombay has all the details of every ship. It has a flag sign. So I think I'd like to congratulate both the NCB and the Navy, but I would also suggest a greater cooperation between these countries and also the various, the shipping lines that we are talking about and the countries whose ships are in this particular area.
Well, let us in fact get in George Kalivailal as well. George, this particular haul happened just off the coast of Kerala, and in Kerala there have been many such hauls that have taken place. There was an incident in March 2021 as well, where the NCB officials were worried that Kerala's ports as well as even Tamil Nadu's ports were being used as transits for Sri Lankan ports and then towards Southeast Asia as well as towards Mauritius and Maldives as well. And it seems that these ports in these two states have in fact become the transit routes for a lot of drug mafias trying to push in, not only to getting into their domestic so-called markets for them, but at the same time trying to use it as a transit points to other places as well. How do you see this menace in Kerala alone? Because in Kerala alone, we had recently taken up a story saying the number of NCB cases in Kerala had shot up by 333%. This is only in Kerala in 2022. Your views on it?
Varghese, as you rightly said, it's really alarming, as Asadji was pointing out. The concern is not just for one state or something, but Kerala has become a big center for all kinds of narcotic drugs, and this has become a bigger issue. Now, as you know, that even the government data in Kerala shows that there is a huge increase on every year. In the assembly in 2022 August 31st, Chief Minister Pinarayi Vijayan gave a statistics that 16,128 drug abuse related cases have been registered in Kerala during 2022 until August only. That time it was in August. The figure was way above the cases. It was only 2021. It was only 5,334. In 2020, it was only 4,650. In 2019, it was only 9,245. That has been increased to 16,000 in few months. That kinds of increases. And over 9,000, almost 10,000 people, 9,700 people were arrested in 2019 alone. That means, but in 2021, the cases of arrest itself has gone up to 17,834. These are the arrested cases already. much, are not, nobody notices it, or nobody are caught there. The issue is so serious that, earlier it was ganja or some other drugs, but it is now all kinds of chemical drugs and like NDMA, which has serious effect on our youth. Especially these drugs are used mostly by our college going students and school going students even. Though the government of Kerala has launched a no to drugs campaign in last October, but as we all know, these are all campaigns which students will take some pledges that no to drugs. But after all this drug mafia is running very freely across the state, and majority of the drug haul are through the sea route, through the Arabian Sea, through the Indian Ocean, but I think our Navy and our Narcotic Bureau has to take much more stringent actions, and otherwise Kerala will be another Punjab, or even earlier it was Punjab or Gujarat, which was up in the drug mafia. Now Kerala has become real. Every day, at least one case is reported. One guy is arrested from either Cochin, Tiruvandhuram, Alapi, or Kasaragod, or Kannur, or somewhere. Anywhere in Kerala, even in the train, in the bus, or in a small tea shop, everywhere it is sold. This has become a major menace, and it will destroy the youth of Kerala, no doubt about it.
Well, George, hold on to your thoughts. We have Manish Bala, who is the former officer with the NCB, also joining us. Manish Bala, does India, being in the center of the death crescent on one side, especially on its west, and the death triangle on the east, make it in an unfortunate geopolitical situation it is in because of these this location that it is in, and it becomes a question of when these two locations can technically tie up when it comes to the drug trade. So is India finding itself in a geographical fault line as such, not because of its own, because of the geographical situation, that these incidents of transit of drugs and maybe even supply of drugs is increasing?
You are absolutely spot on. It is because of our, we are sandwiched between this so-called the golden or a death crescent and the death triangle, I can say. Okay, so we are basically sandwiched between that. And you are aware that on both the sides, on one side the Myanmar, okay, and the other side the trio of Afghanistan, Iran, and Pakistan. Now, though the intelligence, first I should congratulate the NCB and the naval forces. They have done an excellent job, right from locating it from the whispers in the mothership and getting it done. You are aware that Indian Ocean is basically a very, very heavily trafficked area. Okay, and whenever there is a heavily trafficked area, in that they take advantage of this, because hundreds of ships are going on both the sides, across the ocean. Indian Ocean, there's a special organization called Information Fusion Center in the Indian Ocean region, which is a combination or a group of a lot of naval forces of various countries, and they are trying to do their best. Okay, and this is one of the results. Now, though the intelligence says it is from the consignment was originating from Pakistan, I have got my view that basically these consignments are from Afghanistan. From Afghanistan, they travel to Pakistan, and from Pakistan, then they are shipped like this, So once the investigation goes in deep, you will find that these originating from Afghanistan, not exactly Pakistan, but Pakistan and Afghanistan are hand in glove in these things. Okay. Now, as regards to Kerala is concerned, Kerala is definitely going to be the next Punjab. There is no doubt in it. In my upcoming book, I have written extensively on Kerala. Okay, Kerala itself has become a big hub for, as my learned friends just said, it has become big hub. The consumption has gone drastically high. The number of cases have gone drastically high. Uh, in the entire country, if you say the range from where the cases have started in 3 years back and today, the maximum increase is in Kerala. Okay, so what is the reason for that? The reason being, there are multiple reasons. One, there are informations that there are foreign elements which are working from Kerala. Okay, again, as you said, there is a transit route of Maldives, Sri Lanka, from the same coast. So there are people who are handling it from there. So these are multiple things which are happening, and the agencies have to be alert to see that such things don't happen. And this is an excellent case what the agencies have booked.
Well, it's an excellent case, but my worry over here, Mr. Manish, is that we have an issue over here. That is, the issue is that these drug mafias are using the same shipping trade routes. And it is not that these trade routes have not been manned. There are international navies in the Indian Ocean region as well as in the Arabian Sea. There are coast guards of different countries also. So still they are able to find blind spots through which they are able to send in motherships and carry on with that trade. That's the worrying factor. Despite having high security, it looks like there are blind spots still in the Indian Ocean.
Abraham, you are rightly put it. Let me tell you. See the vastness of the Indian Ocean, first of all. See the areas with the countries where it touches upon. Okay, it's very vast. The number of consignments or the ships or the containers which are moving in this area are, if you see the figures, they are staggering. Okay, and it is very easy for anybody to do in the crowd. You know, all these things are done in the crowd. So if there are around 40 tons of rice bags coming, and in that 40 tons, maybe 2.5 ton has been camouflaged like this. You know, it's very difficult unless and until you got specific intelligence. So that's why I said that I really appreciate the intelligence gathering. Otherwise, without intelligence, these cases cannot be booked. You know, and as regards the same route is concerned, this has been traditionally there. It is only after agencies have become very alert and the watch is being kept, so such cases have been booked. Otherwise, if you go by the history, as far as the figures are concerned, I was just going through it. In 21, there were around 700 cases booked by naval forces across the Indian Ocean. More than 50% was of drugs. More than 50%, around 300 cases in a year. Almost one case every day. So this is very vast, and the success may be very minor, but definitely it matters.
Well, it might be, but it definitely matters. But then again, the NCB as an organization, do you think it requires more support, more personnel, because this challenge seems to be growing exponentially? Do you think it requires more support, more personnel, and also it needs to be tied with an intelligence wing, it needs to be tied with the other enforcement agencies as well? I think right now the NCP needs a force multiplier option to catch this menace, isn't it?
You are right. You are right. See, any agency which is deprived of staff, is not able to work. So staff strength has to be increased. The intelligence level officers have to be increased. The technology has to be used. The AI has to be used today, and the drones have to be there so that the monitoring is done at the areas. Officers have to be trained in that fashion. So there's a lot to be done. Okay, there's a lot to be done. So we are facing an international menace. It's not only India's drug menace. It's an international conspiracy which is there, and where India has become sandwiched. Okay, so if you see all agencies, they are working, they are trying to improve. But yes, there is a lot of scope for improvement, and I'm sure that agencies are working on it.
Well, let's in fact get in Yashvardhan Azad as well. Yashvardhan Azad, one more thing that comes to light is that when we look at the drug production or the countries from which it comes from, relatively most of them have unstable economies, and it looks like somewhere down the line, especially when it comes to Afghanistan or when it comes to Pakistan or even Iran to that matter, it looks like there seems to be somewhere that the government is also aligned when it comes to the production of these narcotics and contrabands as well. Because at the end of the day, it is foreign currency that they are looking at, isn't it?
Well, you see, let's start with Afghanistan. In Afghanistan is a huge problem with the economy and about the finances to run the government. And in fact, according to the latest reports, even 80% area is now been given for poppy cultivation, because that is the major source of revenue. And the other thing about Afghanistan is that Mr. Bala was right, that most of it passes through the Pakistan, and where exactly you have these meth labs. Now, meth labs are not very difficult to create. You know, it's a cocktail of most dangerous chemicals, you know, like drain cleaners, battery acids, and some other, you know, third-rate drug stimulants, even cough syrups, etc. So here you have a huge problem. Pakistan is unstable, Afghanistan is highly unstable, and in Pakistan, in a tumbling economy like this, there is a lot of scope for these various mafia operators, criminals. And my fear as a security professional is something, you know, even beyond these drugs. You see, in Punjab, the virtual attack by the swarm of drones, you know, coming in with, you know, drugs and weapons, and then you slide down to the Bombay coast and the Gujarat coast, and Kerala, because being a very good location, but on the shipping line, the motherships being used, it may well be that along with these drugs, the weapons may come in, and therefore we'll have another very serious problem on hand. So Mr. Bhalla was right. There's a fusion center where there's a cooperation which is going on, but it needs to be somehow activated better. As far as your case for infrastructure goes for the NCB, I totally agree with you. There's a competent man as DG there, Pradhan, who was in intelligence earlier in Jharkhand, and I had seen his work. He's an outstanding officer. But much of this happens with specific intelligence, you know, intelligence inputs which are specific, then only you can, because otherwise doing a general kind of raid is not possible. In that respect, yes, there should be an institutionally organized, much more sharing of intelligence from all quarters. In this case, also with ATS Gujarat and other organizations, they had it. But we have to be very careful about this triangle, which is this Pakistan, Iran, and Afghanistan you had just mentioned, and there is much more to come.
Much more to come. That's again a worry. George, you had in fact said that Kerala has been in fact facing this. It's becoming a huge issue over here. Is Kerala prepared at least? Because it looks like it is not prepared. It doesn't know how to handle a situation. We've seen the symptoms of such things happening in the doctors killing the attempt to kill the magistrate, and both of them were said to be on substance abuse and having withdrawal symptoms. Kerala seems to be not prepared for what is coming.
Absolutely, Abraham. No doubt about it. Kerala is not at all prepared. You know, Kerala always do something when for a facelift or something. You know, like not to drugs. Earlier, when Ramesh Chennitthala was the Home Minister, he also started a campaign, but nothing much on the ground changed the situation. But the drug abuse is starting. You know, is growing like anything. Even in 2021, the Kerala High Court has got a report from N. Ramachandran, former IPS officer, who gave a detailed map of Kerala's migration to deadly drug abuse cases. And Kerala High Court dictated an order asking the state to take proactive steps urgently. But nothing happened, you know. Then COVID came. The cases are increasing day by day. And there is a clear pattern for this. You know, when some are arrested, then they some will come up with a communal angle, some up with come up with another angle. Issues are thrown to dustbin without real investigations, and few people are arrested. Later they are released. After 1 year or 6 months, they will be caught again. This case is happening, and Kerala has become the best region for all these. It is a safe haven for such a drug, making it a drug hub. And this has become a serious issue. This will ruin the Kerala, not just Kerala, the whole country even. When one state is affected, whether it is Punjab, whether it is Kerala, whether it is another state, this will affect the whole nation. And nothing is done. And as I think rightly pointed out, intelligence has to be tightened, and more people have to be in intelligence. These drugs are sold mostly around the college campus and around the school campus even. Especially Ernakulam is the main hub where all kinds of activities are there, all kinds of illegal activities. This has become a major issue, and government is not at all serious. No government, whether it is central government or state government, they are to work in cooperation, work in tandem to tackle this issue.
Well, it seems that the challenge is huge, as India is sandwiched between the two, Death Crescent as well as the Death Triangle, and probably we'll have to pull up our socks to face one of the most important as well as the most challenging situation when it comes to drugs going through our seas and at the same time coming to our youth. With that, it's a wrap on this News 9 special. On the other side, stay tuned for News 9 programs.